Welcome to NEXTGames Valhalla series. This video covering the King's Plea missions. Now in this video, I'm simply going to show you 5 examples of how to take on the King's Plea objectives with commentary during the runs. Enjoy. Here we are with our first King's Plea example. In this one, we need to simply clear this entire camp of enemies, but do so by remaining entirely undetected. If any of the enemies see us and turn to attack us, we will fail that objective and have to start over again. Now the key to this one that I'm trying to show is that you want to use the terrain to your advantage to make sure that the enemies can't see you, but you can take them out just as they come into view. The goal here is to either completely take them out with your first hit, or if they have too much health to take out in a single hit, to hit one of their weak points so that they are stunned. A stunned enemy will not detect you until they are unstunned, therefore it buys you an extra second or two to finish them off before you are detected. Also, be sure to use things like bushes and trees to block you, as they are quite effective in making sure that the enemies cannot see you due to camouflage. After you've taken out as many as you can with your arrow, go ahead and sneak in to take the remaining ones out with your blade. Now that we've completely cleared the camp, the last part of the objective is to simply leave the area. Since everyone's dead, we will easily remain undetected, but keep in mind that if you needed to keep some people alive, your quest is not quite over yet until you leave camp, and do so without being detected. Let's go ahead and see what our next example looks like. Now in this next King's Plea example, we need to recover the royal jewelry, and one of the enemies is holding on to it. Additionally, we need to do so while remaining completely undetected by the other enemies at this particular camp. Now Sunan, your bird, is going to be the most useful in these types of missions. He's going to help not only spotting exactly where it is you can find the jewelry and which particular enemy is holding it, but you can take that enemy out from range, like you're going to see me do right here, and then have Sunan go in and retrieve that treasure for you, allowing you to remain completely undetected at a safe distance. You'll even see I even try and tempt fate and start hitting some of the enemies around there, but since we are completely outside the perimeter of the city, they really have no idea where it's coming from, and we're able to make a quick escape. Keep this specific strategy in mind if you're having difficulty completing a particular King's Plea challenge. Just stay on the perimeter of the city, take out any objectives you need to, and thin the herd, so to speak, so that you have a much easier time going in and taking out the remaining objectives. As you see, we've just finished this one by completely remaining outside of the camp. Let's go ahead and move on to our next example. Now here for our third example, we're taking on an entire camp of druids that we must clear successfully while remaining undetected and not taking any damage. Now this example is meant to show you just to use all of the tools at your disposal as an assassin in order to take on some of these King's Plea challenges. As you can see here, we're starting off to use our bow and arrow to take out some of the perimeter enemies with headshots. This will take some of the enemies on the interior of the island and pull them to the outside to see what's going on. You want to use that time to get into their pattern of wherever it is they're walking and get some assassinations in, as I'm doing right here. As you can see, we assassinate from above and then follow it up with an assassination right next to him. All we have now left is a single enemy that was brought to the attention of the first person that we took out. Now another tool you have at your disposal is the sleep arrow, which, especially when you have the objectives of remaining undetected and not taking damage, can be extremely helpful. As you can see just here, we went ahead and slept the enemy, walked up to him, was able to assassinate him to finish off the last kill of the camp. Now it's just a simple matter of leaving the camp and we've finished this particular King's Plea challenge. I also want to point out that these sleep arrows can be extremely useful when you need to not kill enemies at particular camps, because in some King's Plea objectives, the objective is to only kill the necessary targets. Now in this fourth example, we once again need to clear the entire camp of all enemies, while remaining entirely undetected and not taking any damage. Now I wanted to show this particular example because it shows you how you can take out many of the enemies from far outside camp, and even if they do happen to see you, it won't count against your remaining undetected because you aren't actually within the perimeter of the city. Now, this isn't going to work for enemies that are, of course, within the city, but to kind of get your foot in the door and take out some of those perimeter enemies, this is a solid way to do so, especially if you're having difficulty taking these on the higher difficulties. Now, after you take out all the enemies that keep running outside of the city, you've clearly taken out everything that's been alerted to your presence. You can now sneak back up to the perimeter of the city and continue to take out more, as you're seeing here. As you'll see here, I'm having some difficulty finishing off this enemy right here. So don't forget that you can always go ahead and use your abilities as long as the use of that ability is going to take them out before they detect you. Okay, that's going to be pretty much all I need to share on this King's Plea example. Go ahead and watch the rest of the run, and I'll be back for the 5th and final example.
Best not to draw attention here. What do you see?
Now in this 5th and final example, we have what I consider to be the most challenging combination of King's Plea objectives. One, to kill the targets, but then you also have the sub-objectives of not taking any damage or remaining undetected, and no unnecessary kills, which means you can only take out the marked targets, and everyone else must be left alive, which can severely complicate your King's Plea quest. When you get these objectives, I recommend starting with the perimeter targets first, as they will be obviously the easiest to get to without being detected. Then you're going to have to worry about the interior targets. Things like sleep arrows can help, but remember, if they wake up and you're anywhere in the vicinity, they almost immediately detect you. So they're really only a temporary measure to use as you're trying to escape the area, as if you remain around, more than likely you will be detected the moment they wake. The best strategy I can give for these types of runs is to definitely have patience, and to just watch the enemies' paths as they walk around the city. Look for your opportunity to jump in and get your kill on the necessary targets while not alerting those that are around them. Go ahead and watch the rest of this particular example to show you how I do that without any use of the sleep arrows. Enjoy the rest of the run.
Haven't seen anything.
Stretch your wings, Sunan.
Well, we did have to use a lot of patience, but we were able to get out of that King's Plea mission without any detections. Now it's just a simple matter of leaving the area before anyone can detect us. And that's going to be it for the King's Plea guide video. I hope you found that helpful. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy out there.
Then horns resounds the mighty hall, for those who fight, for those who fall, for those who fight, for those who fall. Warlord weaves his web of fear, each man gets his fated share of blood.